The following program was produced by a community producer. The content, views, and opinions expressed are the sole responsibility of the community producer and do not reflect Malden Access Television, the City of Malden, or your cable provider. MATV welcomes your comments. Call us at 781-321-6400 or email us at access@matv.org.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming out tonight. Before we begin the presentation, I'd just like to take care of a couple housekeeping items. If you have a cell phone, if you could please put it to silent or even shut it off, that would be appreciated. If you need to use the restrooms, they're down the hall on the far end on the right. I'd like to recognize a few people in the audience this evening. We have City Councilor James Nestor with us. We have Ward 3 School Committee person, Ms. Debbie DiMaria with us. And we also have the Chief of Police, Kevin Moles, with us. At this time, I'd like to ask Mayor Gary Christenson to come up to the stage, please.
Thank you very much. It's nice to still get applause as I enter my second year as mayor. And I just want to really say how grateful I am, along with Councilor Nestor, for this project to happen. And I've already heard the good news. We just got the insight from Professor Forsythe that the Harvard Graduate School of Design is going to relocate to the city of Malden. So we're excited about that. We're ready to sign the paperwork tonight. No, seriously, one of the things when I campaigned in 2011 was what to do with the downtown. And it's been an issue for us for many, many, many years. And this is the first time that I think Councilor Nestor and I have felt that we are close to coming up with a viable plan. And that's because of the students at the Harvard Graduate School of Design. And it was funny. I remember having lunch in the downtown and trying to figure out, how to move this process forward. And I was with the executive director of the Chamber of Commerce, and after going through a series of ideas, the one that we thought made the most sense was to engage the students. And so when I took office in January of 2012, it's one of the first things that we did. We met with David Gamble, and we had a really good feel about the possibility of what these students were capable of accomplishing. And then through his foresight, we were able to secure a grant through the Metropolitan Area Planning Council, who is here this evening. Where is the representative from the Metropolitan Area Planning Council? We want to thank Amanda Chisholm for being here tonight. And that's how this thing really came together. And so that's another thing that should be pointed out, that it was a partnership that helped propel us to where we find ourselves this evening. And that's what has been, the hallmark now of moving forward. We have to work together in order to get things done. So, then to, have the opportunity to work with Professor Forsythe and, to have you here tonight, it's really something that Councilor Nestor and I feel positive about. And we've already seen the difference before the presentation's made, just by your presence here in Malden. You're actually talked about more than Councilor Nestor and I are. So you really made your presence felt here in the community. And so, my role tonight is really just to, let you know how grateful we are that you've taken the interest, you've spent the time. And I can rest assure you that I'm confident, based on what I'm being told early on, that we are going to implement much of what you have proposed. Of course, as long as it's within the budget, right, Councilor Nestor? But the one site that really we are counting on the students to help us with is what to do at the top of Pleasant Street. And the timing of this couldn't be better. As you know, we have a couple of proposals now that we're reviewing, and we are actually at the stage now of really contemplating what can be done up there at the top. So I've heard about some of the ideas that you've had, and I think they're certainly in line with what we've been thinking about as well. So I also want to recognize Malden Access Television as well for being here tonight. They deserve a round of applause.
here on behalf of the students from Harvard Graduate School of Design. We've been working throughout the whole semester on this project on Malden, the downtown especially, and we're really excited to show you kind of our project, our ideas that we have for this, for the downtown area. We've been working really hard, and we're participating with you, the community, and we'd love to get some feedback with, for the ideas that we've come up with. So we're really excited to kind of introduce you to some of the ideas that we have. First off, we'd like to thank you, the audience, for coming to watch and to listen. And we'd like to thank those who even participated before in our past events. So thank you. And we'd also like to thank our professors for helping us out on this. And I'm going to just kind of ask our students to raise their hands. These are our students, so feel free to refer to any one of us after this. So just kind of give you a roadmap of what's going to happen for the next hour or so. The presentation will be about 20 minutes, and then afterwards, we're going to ask you to join us in the next room, which is just that way, and we will be setting up with tables and kind of questionnaires, so please join us and give us your feedback, which is the most important part. So now we're just going to go with the presentation, so I'm going to pass it off to Chris, and here we go. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you, Jen, and Mayor Christenson, and Kevin, and everybody else for coming. We're excited to see you here. We've really enjoyed learning about the city and meeting so many of you over these last few months. So, without further ado, let's move on to the plan. Before we get into specifics of proposals, can you hear me in the back? Good, yeah. Okay, before we get to specifics of proposals, we're going to start with a vision. And I don't want you to think that we sort of made this vision lightly at all. We didn't, so we're going to talk about that right now. Our vision for Malden is we imagine a vibrant downtown Malden that honors the city's past and builds on its diverse present to meet the needs and desires of residents, visitors, and businesses, both today and in the future. And as I said, we didn't just sort of come up here and come up with this vision without talking to you. Actually, we talked to quite a few of you, and it's good to see some familiar faces out there. Over the last few months, we've talked to almost 1,000 Maldonians in a variety of different contexts. We've met with business owners. We've talked to you on Facebook and on Twitter. We've held a variety of community meetings. We've conducted street surveys. I don't know if I see anybody out there right now from our street surveys, but some cold days out there on the streets. And then we've met with a variety of age groups, from our seniors here to our younger Maldonians over in the Teen Center. So what'd you guys tell us? Well, you told us a lot of things about the positives of the city, but you also told us about a lot of sort of issues and topics that you'd like us to address in the future. You're gonna have this sort of bar over here on the right side throughout the entirety of the presentation. So if you get lost and you forget what we're talking about, you can look over there and it'll be bolded for each individual topic. I'm not gonna walk you through all of them in the interest of time, but we are gonna sort of talk about a few of them. So wayfinding. Wayfinding signs, for those of you that don't know, are signs intended to help you find your way. So if you walk around downtown, you'll see all sorts of different ways that people are directed to and from different destinations. And there's a sort of very wide variety of designs and whatnot that could potentially be confusing for visitors. Something that we've noticed and that you've also told us. Connections. There's a lot of sort of different regions here within Malden, right? And we think it's really important to unite all of those different regions. This is just a quote from one of our Malden residents talking about Route 60 and Center Street, talking about how she'd like it to be more pedestrian friendly in order to sort of unite the different areas. Safety has obviously been a big issue for the city, particularly over these last few months, and we've heard that from you guys loud and clear. The plaza around Government Center has been particularly prominent. Government Center has been poorly lit, eerie, and even menacing at times. Shopping has also been fairly prominent. As I said, we had an online survey. 2/3 of our respondents to it said that retail development was the type of development most needed. Government Center, as Mayor Christenson said, has sort of been a hot button issue all along. And the way it sits in the middle of Pleasant Street has potentially sort of created a block off of a block. This unfortunately is a scene that not too uncommon. Walkability has become a bit of an issue as the cars have sort of taken over the streetscape around here. There are certain areas where you might not necessarily have enough time to cross the street, and you can find yourself in a somewhat unfortunate situation as our friend ended up there. And finally, parks. We heard from a lot of you that parks are an issue. There's not enough of them, and people sort of crave an area where they can gather and linger and enjoy each other's company. So working off all those issues, we came up with a number of proposals. And I'd just like to sort of say this up front. What we're doing tonight is not presenting to you a completed plan, but rather sharing with you the ideas that we've come up with over the last few months. So this is very much part of a continued discussion. So any proposals you see up there, as Jen said earlier, we invite you to continue to talk to us about after the presentation. So yeah, that's a lot of proposals. River route, baseball stadium, parking system, government center, on and on and on. And I could probably stand up here for the next 15 minutes and walk you through all of them individually, but we decided that would sort of be boring and not really rewarding for us or for you. If we were to map all of them, it'd be confusing, and again, not really of much help. So what we're gonna do instead of doing that is we're gonna tell a series of stories about 3 future Maldonians and how these proposals have affected their lives. In order to do that, Tom is gonna come up and tell us the first story.
Hi, everybody. Can you all hear me? Would it be okay if I went without the microphone? No? Sorry, I'm not good with talking with the mic. But basically, to follow up on what Chris said, this is pretty confusing right here, and we want to cover some of this through these 3 different stories. This is not going to cover all of the proposals we have here, but it's going to cover the basic ideas that what we're looking for and what our vision is for Malden. And if you see something during this presentation that you like, that's great, and I invite you to talk to us about it more over there. Likewise, if you see something you don't like, I hope that doesn't happen, but we'd like to start a conversation and then really work with you guys to help refine this proposal. So we're going to start with a walker. Is there anybody that walked here? Yes, in the back. What's your name? Stacy. Would you mind if I use your name just to kind of help the story flow? It makes it more. I think it'll go well. So, Stacy, this is going to be about, 15, 20 years down the road. Just use your imagination, I guess. And Stacy's going to be taking a trip from her home in Malden Gardens, and she's going to move all the way down to the southern end of the city, what we would call the Canal District, and we'll get into that in a little while. But basically, through her journey, we're going to look at a variety of the issues that you see here in bold. But the main ones we're really going to be covering are affordability, the issue about government center and design, and also creating a walkable community, or as it says up here, a downtown neighborhood. So, we're going to start at Malden Gardens, and Stacy's sitting at Malden Gardens, and she really comments on how it has changed from what it used to be, and that's a good thing. Through the help of state and federal funding, this has become a new place, an attractive place, an affordable place for people to live, but also one that's integrated into this downtown neighborhood. As you're going to see here, as the map goes, there is not currently a path to go that way from Malden Gardens, but through rehabilitation of the area and helping integrate it with the downtown neighborhood, that's going to happen. And now I want to see how this Malden Gardens got rehabilitated and kind of the steps that were needed to be taken to make that happen. So first thing we envisioned was the creation of a Malden Community Development Corporation, also known as a CDC. And the way we started this vision was really by learning from our neighbors. This is an example in Jamaica Plain. And it's a really good example that could be tied to Malden because they have a very unique identity and a lot of diverse different groups, and they really tied it all together with this Community Development Corporation to create a vision that unified the city and really created this voice for the community, a voice that helped guide development and a voice that helped guide basically the housing sector and the neighborhood forward in a responsible way that works for all Maldonians. Another thing Stacey's going to see as she's walking is the new Smart Growth Zone. And a Smart Growth Zone is called SMART because it's development centered around transit. And that's really a great asset that Malden has that during the participation we heard from everybody that you guys loved having the T-station, and it really is a great asset for the community. We want to center development around that and zone for more housing near the T. And we want to take advantage of state funds to help support the development as well. What might this look like? It's going to be diverse, appropriate housing near the T. We want to build on what Malden has already and basically kind of have more of it. You can see these larger complexes near the T. Maybe that's something you would see as you get closer and closer to the T station, but basically appropriate for what the neighborhoods are in the area. You're also going to see an active downtown. This is Davis Square, which a lot of you guys talked to us that you'd like to get a Davis Square feel in the Malden area. And the idea here is simple. If you bring more residents to the Malden area, in the Malden downtown, you're gonna have more people, frequenting the shops, frequenting the restaurants. So we're creating this active downtown, and once again, above all, this downtown neighborhood. And as Stacy is moving through the downtown neighborhood, she's going to the new government center. The thing about the new government center is it's really not all that new. Because what we're going to be doing is using the past to help move Malden forward. And the new government center will be located in our plan, right where the Jordan Marsh building is today. And that really has served for a long time as a symbol for revitalization in the community in the past. And we want to build on that and really help move the city forward by looking at the past and also solving this long-standing issue with minimal cost. It's not going to cost as much to move to a new building as it would to create a new building as it would to move into one that's already existing. So what might it look like? The whole plan is to revitalize the Jordan Marsh building and kind of integrate it into the existing fabric, but it shouldn't look all that different. It's the Jordan Marsh building, it's there already. But really, keep it an anchor of the downtown. Keep it a centrally located place where people can still go to take care of business they need to have taken care of at Government Center, which is what Stacy, incidentally, is doing here. She came to get a business permit to start her new job in the Canal District, as we're going to be looking at. So, as she's walking down south towards the Canal District, as she's walking south, she stops in the new River Route Greenway, which is basically going to be this really fantastic place for Maldonians to enjoy. And just like the Government Center, which is kind of following on the past, the River Route Greenway is also following a historic path. And it's also connecting Malden to north and south. It's connecting Malden to the bike, to the sea path as well. And it's really a throughway and a destination. The idea here is this is going to be a place that people want to be in Malden. What might it look like? So this is actually, it could be an extension of the current river route. This is what we see in Medford. But guys, this is Malden, not Medford. So this is going to be better and more beautiful than what Medford has. But let's try to build off that and just kind of go with it. Create a place to walk, run, and relax. And once again, have that connection to the bike, to the sea path, and have a place that people can really stay and hang out and enjoy themselves. And as she moved down south through the river route path, she came to the Canal District. Now, before we talk about the Canal District, we really have to talk about neighborhood design, which neighborhood design is a really big plan and something we really envision positively for the future of Malden. Now, what neighborhood design is basically is creating zones for each of the individual neighborhoods in the community. These are the zones that we created through our process, but it's important to note, as it says here, this is guided by resident participation. So when this process would go through, we would need your help to help draw the zones, and help really create these neighborhood design guidelines and match form to fit the location. And when I say match and form to fit the location, I'm going to take you through the Canal District and what it might look like in the future, so you can see what I mean. So the first thing about neighborhood design is that it's sensitive to what the neighborhood is. It kind of follows the form that's already there. And if you're in the Canal District now, if you're in the south of the downtown, you notice a lot of industry, you notice a lot of businesses, and a lot of food industry too, like for instance, the New England coffee shop here. What we want to do is basically build on that. And we want to create a hub for entrepreneurs. This is actually taking another thing in Jamaica Plain. It's called a food incubator, and basically what it is, it's a place where restaurant owners, it's kind of like a experimental test kitchen, where people come and create new foods, create new recipes to help bolster the local restaurant scene, helping create food trucks and all kinds of interesting and new ways to reinvigorate the Malden economy. And we want that to happen here because really above all what food does for Malden, I think, is celebrate the diversity of the town. As already is there's a ton of great diversity in the food choices in Malden, and I think we should build on that to really celebrate what Malden is. And I think if we do policies like the Canal District and like some of the other things we're going to be talking about, Malden won't just be a place for Maldonians and a place for residents in the area to come and enjoy, but it's also going to be a destination for people in the region, and Chris is going to talk a little bit more about that.
Wonderful, thank you, Tom. Can everyone hear me? I've been losing my voice. Can you hear me in the back? Wonderful. Perfect. So now, what is Malden going to look like to someone coming out of the region? Did anyone tonight take the tea in? Perfect. What's your name?
Amanda.
Amanda, how's your night going?
Great.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, where did you come from this evening?
Downtown Crossing.
Downtown Crossing, perfect. That actually aligns perfectly with my story. So, I couldn't have asked for a better candidate. Now, do you mind if I use you to kind of ease the story up a little bit? Amanda, wonderful, thank you. So, Amanda, like you said, you came from Downtown Crossing, and like we mentioned before, this is, Malden in 20 years. So, much like a lovely day today, Amanda, decides to come into Malden to really embrace the future Malden and what it has to offer. And she's going to be going from the T through Pleasant Street and the Reconfigured Government Center, does a little shopping maybe, and ultimately goes and watches a baseball game, and then heads back home. So how does this really start working? So Amanda, like we mentioned, she's going to be getting off the T and really stepping onto the government center and realizes that's not what it was, and then the transformation of downtown really started with the transformation of government center. So where Pleasant Street used to dead end into a building, we now have an open plaza flanked by two buildings here, really going off this notion of having retail space in an activated corner here. And a plaza space that opens and engages the community. So as she steps off the T, this is kind of the vision she has, that there's maybe a coffee shop, a theater, places that really start engaging and welcoming the community that bring Malden to a regional attractor. She also notices that there are clear signs denoting where to go and how to get there. Signs to start looking kind of like this, that there's multiple ways to get around, that it's not just about, walking, but we're engaging multiple modes. And then we can start going from one place to another. As she steps off the T platform and realizes that, it doesn't have to go around, but now you can go through Pleasant Street, she comes up to a new plaza, a plaza that's ultimately a shared space between cars and pedestrians, a shared street, not just a wide walkway, but a 40-foot wide right-of-way that can be shared by streets and cars, that ultimately lends itself to things like a farmer's market, or spaces that can be used for gathering and that can really be used for people to engage the community, or maybe even Tai Chi, something that the community can really start gathering around and that they can really start coming together in this open space. So after she realizes that this is an engaging, wonderful new open space, it's flanked by these two buildings, Amanda decides to kind of take a walk down. She remembers there used to be some alleyways and some places that weren't quite as friendly as she imagined. And this is just kind of a view of one of them. And going off of what Tom said about implementing this friendly design and this neighborhood design, she notices that it starts looking more like this, really starts engaging the community. We see some community art, really well-lit streets, as well as some native plantings here that start working with some stormwater mitigation issues and really start engaging the community and allowing streets to open up onto one another. So after Amanda kind of passes that green spot, she goes to dinner at one of the new local restaurants that started in that food incubator that Tom mentioned earlier. And they've been able to grow now and step out of that thanks to the new downtown business organization. And this would be through really lending, encouraging downtown development, but not just downtown development, but looking at organizations and partnerships with the community, really making sure the Malden's going in a way that everyone really imagines it to do so, and really supporting and a symbiotic relationship of that. So the other thing that Amanda starts to realize is that she starts to walk down Washington Street, and this is, as we notice as you walk outside, you have an amazing view corridor of the downtown skyline. It's something that we really wanted to engage upon and really use. So Washington Street has been extended, as you can see, through the downtown with 100% corners, 100% corner, meaning a corner that really engages and takes full advantage of with retail and dining options. She also notices, oh, this is getting a little fuzzy. She also notices that there's a unified storefront landscaping, that this is unified not in the stucco boxes, but unified in really embracing Malden and diversity, really embracing what can be done with a variety of storefronts and streetscapes and plazas. So the other thing that this really starts to look at is how, once again, one of our other neighbors in Mission Hill really utilized a community development corporation to really embrace and help the downtown. And by utilizing programs and local businesses to really foster and allow us to grow. So, Amanda, after you've gone through this downtown, you did a little shopping, and walked down Washington, you come to excuse me, I'm losing my voice. The baseball stadium where you're gonna go watch the Malden High Tops. I'm sure most of you know, Congress was initially started here in Malden, and so we kind of playfully engaged that name, the High Tops. At which point, this is not just attraction just for Malden, but also for the rest of the region to really come in. This is a much more inexpensive than going to Fenway, but really being allowed to engage the community. And this is where Nick's going to step in and really help describe how this is also a family attraction.
Thanks, Chris. So in addition to addressing the needs of walkability and people coming into Malden using the T connection, we also considered the driver and issues that come up in terms of parking, the street grid, and so on. So I'm going to continue the story, the leg of the story, sort of with this in mind. So do we have any families here tonight? Okay, great. So this part of the story actually involves a family. Picking up where Chris just left off with the baseball game. And so the game is over now. Of course, the big, dramatic victory for the High Tops. And so the baseball stadium is actually located at what was once the old National Grid Utility Company site. And so the site was developed and turned to a baseball park, Malden Park. And so this has actually been two things at once. It's both replaced a vacant area, which was not used very much, with a new sort of entertainment center. And it's also, at the same time, helped to stimulate the local economy by providing more jobs to the area and also business to local retail and restaurants. So it has become a new regional destination as well. So just like Chris was describing with the T, bringing people in, this is one of the attractions. But it also is just for people in Malden as well. In this case, the family that I'm describing, it's family-friendly entertainment. It's good sort of afternoon, evening activity, and so they're done there. They say goodbye to their friends that they ran into from neighboring towns, of course, and so they leave on foot to walk back to their car, which is parked not too far away. And the walk is enjoyable and pleasant because of several streetscaping initiatives that have been implemented over the years, including street trees and wider sidewalks, as well as a bike lane for bikers. And even though it's nighttime, they're not concerned about safety because there's plenty of lights, street lights, and perfectly well illuminated. And their walk is not very far anyway because as you can see, Malden has a lot of parking actually, but as we found, it's not always as utilized, it's not as well used as it could be. It's also not as well marked as it could be. So we sort of envisioned a different system that would both capitalize on the parking that is available, make sure it's marked clearly, and so people know where they can and can't park. And that serves people coming into town from out of town, and also, of course, local residents, and as well as providing adequate on-street parking. So in this situation, it's they get back to their car. It's very easy. They get into their car. They're heading back home, and as Chris said, the Washington Street has been extended, and so this new street grid provides benefits for people driving within Malden. And so in this case, they're heading home, maybe to a residence like the one that Tom was describing in the beginning, which is up north of Florence Street. And so it's easy for them to get there. It's very convenient. It's quicker than it would be otherwise because Washington Street has been extended further south beyond Exchange Street. And also, many streets that were once one way are now two ways. So there's no need to kind of do this circular path around outer ring roads. Instead, residents can just simply head north or south to get to where they need to go. And so, as the family returns home and concludes their day, I'll pass the mic off to Jen to conclude the presentation. Thanks.
So we've gone through these 3 different tours, and you've got to have a great view of where our strategies or where our proposals are, and kind of just a glimpse of it. But we really want to engage you more and kind of give you more details if you're interested in that about our plans or our ideas that we have for downtown Malden. So we would like you to join us in the next room, and we have like refreshments and tables all set up and ready. A lot of enthusiastic students as well to greet you. So please join us in the other room for questions, comments, feedback. If you have any specific questions concerning any of the strategies that we outlined in our presentation, please feel free to go to any of the 16 tables, and you can range from transportation all the way to urban design. So let's say that you were interested in the river route, then you would just look it up right there. It's in open spaces, so go find the open spaces table and any of the students who are there to welcome you there. So thank you for your attention, and hope to see you at the table.
Hi, I'm Gary Christenson, Mayor of the City of Malden, and we just finished the presentation from the Harvard Graduate School of Design students on what could be done with our downtown. And let me just say I couldn't be more grateful and impressed with their work. They came up with a number of options, including what could be done at the top of Pleasant Street. And so we're looking forward now to getting the final report, at which time we'll see if we can begin to implement some of the recommendations. I spoke with the students after their performance, and they said that the report will be out late May, which dovetails nicely with what we're doing in the downtown and some of the other things that we're considering here in Malden Square. So again, hats off to them. We want to thank the Metropolitan Area Planning Council as well, as they provided the funding to make this study happen. And of course, always have to thank Malden Access Television for being here tonight to cover this important event. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ed Mang. I'm a student at the Harvard Graduate School of Design, and I really we've really appreciated having the community at Malden kind of reach out to us and to be able to participate and to meet and greet with all of you. We're really excited about this plan. We think it's a really good representation of what you, the Malden citizen, have told us, and we hope that you like it, and we hope to get your feedback. So thank you very much. We are here at the Malden Senior Center, and I wanted to ask my classmate, Adrian, her thoughts on our plans about redevelopment opportunities in Malden Square.
Thanks, Ed. Well, one of the things that I think is really interesting about our plan is that we're looking at, in particular with redevelopment, I think the biggest hot button issue for everyone is government center. What do we do with it? Why is it still here? But one of the ideas that we had was actually to consider moving the activities of government center to some of the existing buildings in Malden, such as the Jordan Marsh building. This allows us to use historic fabric that's already here, make use of these beautiful buildings, decrease the vacancy rate, and also to potentially use the site of current government center for something potentially exciting, also potentially connecting Pleasant Street back up to the T.
Hello, my name is Habiba Idrisi, and I am a Malden resident. I was asked by the Office of the Mayor to participate in this research by being their ambassador and help out the students from the Harvard University School of Design with their project by approaching business owners in the area, in the downtown area, and also talk to the Arab community in Malden. I was very happy to be part of this process. I appreciate the opportunity, and I do thank I do thank Kevin Duffy from the Office of the Mayor for getting me involved in such a wonderful process. I'd like to say that I've had a very good experience with this group as far as, and I admire their organization and how they came up with several groups to tackle each ethnic group in Malden and deal with each ethnic group had an ambassador from City Hall to facilitate the appointments with the local business owners and also the interviewing process and the appointments with the places of worship. As far as today goes, I am very impressed with the presentation, and I feel that a lot of positive changes are coming along with it. I think this would be very beneficial to the city of Malden. It would certainly bring more business and make the community members and residents very happy. The one thing that really caught my interest during the presentation is how they spoke about having green spaces and also places where the community members could gather and do things together, which we are currently lacking. Opening up Pleasant Street, which would bring more business to the area. And the parking issue has been a very good point they developed. I think this is very well organized. This is a great turnout. I'm happy to be part of it. And I wish them good luck in continuing what they're doing. And this is totally wonderful. Thank you.